Edinburgh, it's a really small city. It's easy for people to get their head around it. If you came here as a tourist or a visitor, you could walk around the relevant parts of the city in 2 or 3 days and feel you were getting to know it. But having lived more than half my life here, there's always something else. There's something that Edinburgh's keeping hidden from you. There's some secrets from its past. There are underground streets that have never been excavated. There are mysteries. And behind these thick Georgian and Victorian walls of these very prestigious houses, anything could be happening. Behind the net curtains, anything could be happening. And so it's a city that on the surface looks genteel and sophisticated and cultured and civilized, but you scratch away at that surface and you find it's got quite a dark history. Siobhan Clark, Rebus's colleague, sidekick to a certain extent. I mean, she came along because I needed someone to ask Rebus the questions that the reader wanted to ask. So it's the Holmes and Watson thing. You need the sidekick to say, look, how could you possibly know that? Why are we going here? What's going on? But then she took on a life of her own. She became very three-dimensional. I liked hanging out with her. I liked what she did as a character and how she bounced off Rebus. She's a very different character to him, and she's learned some good and bad lessons from him, but has gone off to be her own woman. And in the previous Rebus book, she became his boss because he got busted back down to detective sergeant, and she's risen through the ranks, so she now outranks him, which is a lovely kind of twist in their relationship. It's always interesting because he shares a lot of my characteristics. We were born in the same village, basically a coal mining village called Cardenden in Fife. But he left school at 15. He wasn't clever enough to go to college or university. He joined the police. He joined the army. When he was kicked out of the army, he eventually joined the police. So we've got kind of similar backgrounds, but they diverge at certain points. And he's also older than me. So I've always got to try and think myself into the head of someone who grew up and did most of his growing up in the 60s, the early 60s, whereas I did most of my growing up in the early 70s.